Hey guys, Balkan Architect here, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create this cool looking detail in Revit. Now this is a detail which shows the connection between the wall, the last floor, as well as the roof. So it's kind of a double detail in one. So it looks quite cool, and it is a challenging project, but I think it's worth learning something like this, because everyone that starts with Revit thinks that it's impossible to do specific detailing like this, and it's actually not that difficult. So I hope you learned something from this tutorial. But before I get started, I would just like to ask you to like this tutorial. It helps me out a lot, and if you haven't already, I suggest you subscribe, because I make videos like this every day. Okay, so let's get started. Here I have just a small kind of a house, and if I just go here on the graphic display options and turn on the transparency a bit, you can see here I've got some roof construction over here, and here I've got a gutter, and so I've got a couple of elements already in place. And if you don't know how to create this roof construction or this gutter, I'm going to link some tutorials I did a lot earlier, and all of these parts are explained, so make sure to check that out if you don't know how to do that. But now I'm just going to be updating this, or aligning it kinda so it looks more realistic. So first I'm just going to go to level 1 and create a section over here. So here we're going to have a section like this, and if we open up this section, you can see if I go into Fine over here, you can see these over here are the beams, so they're kinda underneath this whole roof, and this here part, this is insulation, and these beams should be really going through this insulation material. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go here in 3D, select this whole beam system, and again, if you don't know how to do this, don't worry, just go to the tutorial in the link below. So I'm just going to open this up, and now you just go here, edit work plane. To change the work plane, you go pick a plane, you go OK, and then you pick this plane over here. This is kind of the plywood, the plywood layer, so these beams should be underneath over there. So now if I go in 3D, you can see they're kind of embedded in roof. So that's the first part that was important to do. The second part, as you can see here, this floor is actually going to the outside of the wall, and if you know anything about construction details, this is not how this looks like. It's kind of only on the structural part of the wall. So to change that, I'm just going to go here to level 2, and as you can see in level 2 we can't really see the wall layers because they're not being cut through. So I'm just going to go and type in VR for view range, and okay, oh, we're in ceiling plan. Okay, let's go to level 2. Okay, and let's just type in VR for view range, and let's change this to 100. And you need to hit apply. Okay, yeah, and just go here to Fine. Okay, now we have all of these wall layers, and what we're going to do now is we're just going to hit the tab a couple of times to select our floor, go edit boundary, and then we're just going to edit the boundary so it comes to this structural part of the wall and nowhere else, or it's not going to go any further out. So once you do that, you hit finish, and now let's go into our section over here. So this is something that we're looking for, because this floor is actually standing on this structural part, and then we're building a second wall or second structural part of the wall up here, and then these insulation and all the finishing layers are kind of added on later on. Okay, one more thing here, this wall can't really end like this. This is probably some masonry units, and we can't really end it like this without anything. We need to add a structural beam over here just to hold everything in place. And to do that, we need to place it right here on this edge. So I'm just going to go here to level 2, and the reason why I'm going to level 2 and not level 3 is because when we're in level 3 we can't really see the layers. So when we go into level 2, here we can see the layers, and now we can place our beam a lot easier. So I'm just going to go to structure, to beam, or just BM is the shortcut if you want to use that. And if you don't have any concrete beams, just go load family, and here let's find structural framing, concrete. rectangle, open it up, edit type, duplicate, and let's do 200 by 200. Now this isn't really some special beam, this is just to hold everything in place up there. So I'm just going to do this 20 by 20 and hit OK. And then I'm just going to place it like this. It might seem a bit random, but we're going to kind of put it back in place a bit later. So now we just type in VR, and here I just suggest you put these two at unlimited, and then let's turn this to wireframe, and now we can actually select and move around our beam. So I'm just going to use the align tool and hit the tab a couple of times so I can align it to this part over here. This is kind of the finished material, and this is the structural material. And now if we go into our section, you can see here's our beam, and we can't really move it up and we can't change its reference level, but what we can do is go here into copy, paste, align to selected levels, and go into level 3. And here we go. And now we can select this one and delete it. And now we also need another structural framing part, or another beam over here. So we need to duplicate this beam, and the upper one will be made out of wood because this whole the whole roof will stand on it. So what do? You select this one, you go again, copy, paste, align to selected levels, level 3, and now it's all orange because it's overlapping, but don't worry, you just scroll down over here while everything is selected, and for the Z justification you go from top to bottom, and now it's up here, and now you can just change it to your timber or whatever you have for your wood beam. Okay, so once this is done, you have something to place your roof upon, and now you need to lower the whole roof down, and you do that just by selecting the roof and find the offset. Here we have base offset. Let's try minus 26 centimeters. Let's try minus 30, 35. Okay, this looks fine. Okay, so now everything's in place, and now we need to create a callout. So I'm just going to go here to view, and you need to find callout. So you select callout, and then I'm just going to select something like this. So this is the detail I'm looking for, and now we can select this and kind of move it around. I can perhaps place it over here, and to open this callout out, you just double click this here, so it works exactly like levels. And now let's change the scale to 1 to 20. I think this is fine, and we can turn off this thin lines, or maybe keep it, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we can keep it for this. And let's make sure that we have all the detailing here at detail level at fine. So this is something that we get. Okay, so this is really just the starting part, so now it's time to start detailing. So the first thing I like to do is I like to set the materials to make them look a bit better. So I'm just going to select this floor over here, go into edit type, edit the structure, and here for this concrete, let me just change this to some tight hatch, like this diagonal cross hatch. And here, because this is Revit 2019, we have this option of background hatch, and let me add some light gray for this concrete. Go apply, okay. So this is now, as you can see, we've changed this. Now for this structure, this is just a concrete block or masonry unit. I'm just going to leave it as is. Now here we have some insulation material, and I'm going to change it to yellow because usually in my country we paint insulation materials yellow. So that's because, I don't know, it looks warm. So just go apply, okay. Okay, and let's just hit OK, apply, OK, and this is what we get. So we get some yellow materials over here, we have this concrete material over here, and let's change this to that same concrete, just to have the same material showing. So just go here, cast and suit, go apply, OK, and here let's add some wood materials. So let's scroll down. Okay, this is some soft wood, so let's add a pattern over here, and here we have some wood patterns. Go apply, okay, and it looks like this. It looks real nice, but we can also kind of color it a bit. I think that would look cool. So let's do solid, and let's try some wooden material. I don't know, something like that might look cool. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so let's move on. So now we need to join some of this because this doesn't really look right. So you just go here to the Modify tab, you go Join, and we're going to be joining these two. And as you can see, immediately here it made this join. But as you probably know from how these details usually look like, we need to have some concrete over here in the end. So we can just extend this layer down here and create kind of a concrete slab over here. Now, how do you do that? You need to go here to the view and you have this cut profile option. You select that, you select this material over here, and now you just add whatever you want. So you just add more material over here. So I'm just going to use this as a reference. So let's leave this at 5 from this line, so this should be 5 centimeters, and let's trim and place this here. And here is just where should it continue, so just leave this this little arrow pointing outward and go finish, or sorry, pointing inward. Yeah, this looks right. Now you need to kinda make this line over here disappear, and you're going to do that just by selecting it, or just going here to cut profile. Now you select this material over here if you can find it. Yeah, and now you cut it over here, and this arrow basically shows is it continuing or which part of the material to keep. So we don't want to keep this, we want to keep just this part. So you make sure that arrow is pointing this way, and you just go finish. Okay, so this part of the detail looks right. So now we need to fix this up over here. So usually you don't want to have insulation going all the way out, you want it to finish kind of over here, so it's transferring from the wall all the way into the roof. So how do you do that? First, let's cut this angle off over here because we don't need that one. So you just go again into view, cut profile, select this thing, you create one line like so, make sure it's going like this. Yeah, zoom in and make sure that this little arrow is pointing inward, and you just go finish. Yeah, that looks right. Now you go again, cut profile, you select this insulation over here, you just pull a vertical line from over here up to the end, make sure that it knows to keep this part, so you just go finish. And then we need to cut out this line over here because we don't really need it to. So again, you need to go here to view, cut profile, select this, and just go kind of like this, and make sure that this is pointing in the other direction, so it's keeping the other part. Okay, and let's connect this to this. So you just go here and again, cut profile, select this, and now we're going to be adding to the material. So start from here, go all the way up here, finish it here, and make sure that the arrow is pointing inward, and that looks right now. Okay, so we have this insulation going like this, and we have this kind of a ugly end over here. So how do you fix this part? So what you need to do is you need to actually create some sort of a hatch material. So just go to annotate, and you have this region, and we have this filled region or solid black. Now we're going to go into edit type and change this into solid white, so duplicate, now let's call it solid white, and let's change this color fill pattern, and of course we have two of them, so I'm just going to put both of them on white. And now let's just make something that goes like this all the way here and kind of close it up. Okay, so we have this part, and now I'm just going to add some of the wooden material that kind of closes all of this up, and you can add this just by using regions again, or just by doing detail lines. So first I'm just going to do this part over here. So this is a line that goes usually kind of like this, and I'm just going to pull it in over here just by 2 centimeters. So this should be 2, yeah, and just go finish. Okay, now again select it, go CS for create similar. So I'm just going to do another one over here, and this should be closing off the end. Now I know you can use this, you can create the same thing using here architecture and then roof and going with fascia and soffit, but I found this doesn't really work very well when you're doing detailing. It's cool when you're doing just 3D and it should look nice, but if you're doing detailing, it's better to do it manually, in my opinion. So now just to finish this off, all of these kind of wooden elements down here, so I'm just going to go annotate, detail line, rectangle, and let's just do something like this. And you select it and you kind of copy it. So let's copy it over here, select multiple. Yeah, I'm not being too precise, but you get the point. Okay, so we have these materials over here, and this can be, you can leave a little holes in here to just ventilate this area if it's necessary. Okay, so let's fix this detail over here. Now this is called a floating floor. It's quite popular in my country. I don't really know what it's like in your country, but basically a floating floor is some sort of a sound insulation. So you just wrap this insulation all the way over here, so the whole floor will just look like it's floating. And if this doesn't make sense, don't worry, it will make sense in a second. So I'm just going to go here to view, again, cut profile, select this thing, and now I just need to make sure that this is going up a bit, and then make sure to continue it over here. Use the fillet tool over here, kind of like that. And then I'm just going to delete this side and go finish. So you can see this is kind of floating, so you can jump all over this floor in your concrete shoes, and the guys downstairs won't really hear it. And now we just need to fix these lines over here. So again, view, cut profile, select not that, cut profile, select this. Just use pick lines for this part. So you connect this to that, make sure that the arrow is going in the other direction. Go finish, and just one more time. Again, just one vertical line over here. Go finish. Yeah, this detail looks right now. Okay, so what else is important to have on a roof? And that, of course, is shingles. So how do you do shingles? So first I'm going to show you how to, basically the method used just by creating something else. So I'm just going to lay the brickwork over here, and then we're going to use the same tool to create our shingles. So if you go here on the annotate tab, you have these annotation components or detail components, and you have this repeating detail components. So if I select this and go with the brick, and if I just start going from here, you can see we've got these brick elements. So I'm just going to be placing brick elements over here on the outside, and you get something that looks like this. So it looks really cool. It's kind of an array of sort, and let's use the same method to create here the shingles. And I've already created a shingle family, so I'm going to insert it. So I'm just going to go here to insert, load family, go to desktop, shingle detail, open it up, and then I'm going to go again to the annotate tab, component, repeating component, edit type, duplicate, let's just call this roof to keep it simple, and let's choose the shingle detail, and for the distance for the spacing I'm going to go with 18 because that's what I determined this should be, and then let's start from here and go all the way up. Okay, so we have our shingles, and it's as easy as just pulling one line, so that's quite cool, and then you can of course adjust it over here later on. And let's turn on just to see what this looks like. Now, this might be annoying when you turn on this thin lines, and you can see you have these quite thick outlines of your walls and of your roof. And in order to change that, it's quite easy. You just go into VG, or Visibility Graphics, and you kind of scroll down and you find, let's find walls. That should be down here. Okay, walls, and cut lines. And let's override this, and let's override it with weight number 2, and do the same thing for roof. So okay, roofs, cut lines, override, number 2, okay, apply, okay. Yeah, this looks a lot cleaner now, and I like to keep these beams kind of a thicker line because I think it looks better. It's a beam, it should be strong. Okay, so what else can we add to this? So let's add this here anchor point where that connects this wooden beam to our concrete beam underneath, and I'm going to be loading that in as a component. So just go here, detail component, and you go load family, and I'm just going to drop a folder back to go with the metric library. And here you have these detail items, and I'm just going to go to metal fastenings, and then just scroll down a bit. Okay, here you have anchor, and you have this side view or the nut view. Sounds funny. And just open it up. And here I'm just going to choose this M12 size and just place it like so. And then you can select it and you can kind of move it around a bit. So I think this looks about right. So we have our anchor point over here. So our detail is looking quite good right now. Now let's add some insulation. So just go here to insulation on the annotate tab to get this kind of a wavy line. And for the width, I'm just going to type in 16 because I think 16 is for this. And here, if I start from here, okay, and go down here, yeah, that's 16. And as far as this number for the bulge, if you go with a smaller number, it will be larger. So I don't know how that works, but that's how it works. So keep that in mind. And let's create another one over here that's 15 for the roof. And let's do number 2 over here as well. Okay, this should be 14. So you just select it and you go with the 14. And let's pull it in a bit over here so it doesn't stick out. Okay, so this is looking quite alright right now. And here I just like to add one detail line because it's annoying me to have this kind of a gap, because it wouldn't really look like that in real life. So just one detail line like so. I think it fixes it up quite a bit. Okay, so if you want to add some text, you can go here to the annotation and go with text. And here, as you can see right now, we have no leader text. So if I just type anywhere, I can just start typing text. Nope. And we can also go with one segment or a 2 segment or a curved line. So if I go like this, I can kind of place a line like this, and let's just call this anchor. I hope I have spelled that right. Yes, I have. Okay, so you get the point. You can just add text like this. So wherever you need to add something, or you can use the material tag. So if you want to say that this is common brick, so you just place text like this. Okay, so you get the point. You can add anything basically that you want to annotate over here. But now we have this ugly line where this kind of ends, and I don't really like how it looks like. And let's add some annotation adjustment for this to make it look a lot nicer. So how do you do that? Again, I'm going to go to annotation, component, go load family, and here we have these metal fastenings. But let's go with general, and here we have break line. And if you don't know how I got to there, you just go to US metric or US imperial, depending on what you use, detail item, general, break line, open it up. And you just go here and you hit the space bar so it aligns the way you want it to align, and you place it. And now it's actually inverted, so I'm just going to go to rotate and rotate it by 180 degrees, and you get something that looks like this, and you place it and you extend it like this. But make sure you don't draw anything over this, because then you will have to delete this or bring it to front or whatever. So I'm just going to go with create similar and create one over here. Kind of like that. Select it, extend it a bit over here. Again, create similar, place it over here. Okay, it's the wrong direction. Rotate 180. And now place it like so. And let's make it smaller over here. Okay, so this looks quite nice, but let's say this is too tall of a detail. You want to do it in some large scale and you don't want to use too much paper on it. So I'm just going to delete this line for a second. And here I'm just going to hit one of these lines, and you see that you have this little X over everything. So I'm just going to select that, and you get something that looks like this. It basically breaks the detail in half. So I'm just going to grab all the way till this gutter part over here, and here I'm just going to extend it just a bit like so. And now we can select one of these and you get this little arrow over here and you can move it down. So I'm just going to place it like that, and then I'm going to use one of these over here, and I think this is going in the right direction. Yes, it is. Extend it a bit. Can we extend it? Yeah. Okay, so this looks right. And you do the same thing over here, just invert it. Yeah, that looks all right. And you just scroll down over here and you kind of make this crop region invisible, and you get something that looks like this. And let's kind of pull this in as well, and it's looking mighty fine. And just to make everything look even more professional, let's add a grid line over here, and grid lines usually go through this structural part. So I'm just going to go here to level 1, type in GR for grid, and place it over here through the structural part, just like so. And then I'm going to scroll down to my callout, and there you go, we have our grid line. And let's just bring it down a bit and bring it up a bit over here. Okay, so here we have our amazing detail done in Revit alone. So I hope you have learned a lot from this tutorial. I know I have learned a lot just making it. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and share this video. And if you have any questions, comments or suggestions for future tutorials, leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.